Dude, all day yesterday, on and off, I was like climbing. And I got to a point where I finally got the chance to do the legend rank up fight. And then I misplayed on the first game, and then the second game that sucks just to look at it. 99 out of it. Okay, screw it. I'm gonna go play the game more. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Legend 0. Ain't that just prettier to look at? So the deck that helped me finally get to Legend was this Ashura Kaiser based Nova Grappler deck. The goal of the deck is to repeatedly slam the opponent in the face with restanding rear guards, essentially for free. We are also trying to make columns that when they restand, they will be able to hit indefinitely. The unit that allows the deck to work is Asura Kaiser. If you don't know what Ashura Kaiser is, he is a 11k grade 3 that has a very simple ability that whenever you drive check a grade 3, you can stand a rear guard. Ashura Kaiser, I guess you could put him in his own little magical tier. When he works, he is basically the best boss monster that Zero has right now. But when he doesn't work, he is an 11k vanilla. So how do we build around a unit that is essentially luck based? We capitalize on the luck. So when the luck works, it works very well. And then we have units that can act as a backup in case Ashura Kaiser is not able to fulfill his role. Now, in the grade 1 slots, besides the perfect guards, I have 4 Death Army guy. He has the ability that when you drive check a grade 3, he gets restand. So if he's in a column with a unit in front of him tapped, and Ashura Kaiser checks a grade 3, then you can stand him and the card in front of him for free. I play the 2 tough boys to help get past small interceptors in the early game, and then boost for perfect numbers in the late game. When I made the gold rutile deck, I said I didn't like Claydol mechanic, so when I was building this deck, I was actually playing Toolkit Boy. The problem with Toolkit Boy in this deck is that most of the time you will not be putting any rearguard behind Ashura Kaiser, so you need another way of countercharging in this deck, especially because we don't have gold rutile as an essential in the deck anymore. So countercharging needs to be done with Claydol mechanic, especially because we play more Brutal Jacks in the deck. Like I just said, we're playing 4 Brutal Jacks in this deck. Brutal Jack is one of the best grade 2 units in the game. With that in mind, he is also one of the best triple rares in the game because he is an 11k grade 2. He cannot attack because he has restraint, but he can lose restraint with a counterblast of 1. And then if he is on Vanguard and he's boosted, he gets plus 5k. So using him in tandem with our free booster, which is Battle Riser, that will make a 19k column. So if you're going first, it will hit guaranteed on that second turn. If you're going second, as long as they don't ride a 10k vanilla, then it will still work. I play 3 Death Army ladies. She's not as great as Death Army guy because Death Army guy is a restanding booster while she is just a 9k restander, but we have Ashura Kaiser to kind of guarantee us a bigger unit to attack. She's just here as a free attacker, usually to be sending at rear guards. Like I said earlier, we were trying to capitalize on the luck base, so we will hopefully try to use triggers on her to help make hittable columns later on. I play the 4 trans risers in the deck. We need him in here to help establish a board state late game. Because what will end up happening is that the opponent will start sniping our rear guards when they don't have to, just to ensure we are not able to multi-attack on our turn. So Transriser is in here to help us like refill our ranks. King of Swords is in here just to make bigger columns when we're restanding with Ashura Kaiser. Moving on to the grade 3s, since I only have 2 Ashura Kaiser, I play 2 Golden Rutile just to help fill in the slot of a Vanguard that can help our rear guard stand up. The cool thing with Golden Rutile is that he is a guaranteed restand if you can get him to hit. So early game, sometimes he is better. The great thing about Ashura Kaiser is he doesn't need to hit for his ability to go off. So you can sometimes just send him at a rear guard, or he still can be blocked by a perfect guard, and you can still get your rear guards to stand up and make finishing blows. Lion Heat is in here as a unit that can guarantee us a restand. So let's say you have 4 Ashura Kaisers and you don't have any Golden Rutile. Lion Heat is essential to play in the deck to have a guarantee restand early game. Because let's say that you have Ashura Kaiser out. If I can get 2 attacks in this turn, I can win. So you use Lion Heat as a guarantee restander, even though you will be losing the 11k butt. Death Army Droid is in here for the same reason he was in the Golden Rutile deck. He is here to help us make big columns, so when our restanding goes off, they can still hit if the opponent gets defensive triggers. Cosmo Lord works really good in this deck in tandem with Ashura Kaiser's free restanding. Cosmo Lord's ability is that you can rest a rearguard and he gets plus 3k. That's stackable, so you can tap 4 rearguards and he'll get plus 12k. So what you'll typically do is you'll rest a rearguard in a column that doesn't need the booster. So you'll tap something like a Death Army guy that is boosting a rearguard that's just going to go after a interceptor. Cosmo Lord boosted by any unit in the deck will be able to hit for magic numbers. There will be games where sometimes you'll just place a grade 3 in the back column just to help him get over thresholds to hit for bigger numbers just as a finisher, because the ability sticks with him for the rest of the turn. So if you give him to 16, for example, when Ashura Kaiser restands him, he'll still be 16, unlike Death Droid where you have to counterblast 1 every time he attacks, and it is only a once attack. We are playing the 9 draws in the deck to help us ensure that we have resources to sustain us through the game and to get us to our perfect guards quicker. Stands are redundant because we can stand for free already, and crits can mess up our lines of play. Some lines of play I like to do with the deck is I like to make sure I get Brutal Jack on the Vanguard circle to ensure that I get very early on damage. This makes it so we get into the late game where we will probably have less resources than our opponent. We will be able to start eating up their perfect guards sooner, so we're able to finish the game off at a rate that we want to be playing at. A typical board state will look like your opponent has 2 interceptors. We have a good front row and then hopefully some boosters boosting our rear guards. So we will send both rear guards at their interceptors. We'll then swing with Ashura Kaiser. Ashura Kaiser will hopefully then restand 1, if not both of our rear guards, allowing us to deal 2 damage in a turn for free when we should have only been able to do 1. Making sure that at least 1 Cosmo Lord or a droid is on rear guard and that they are swinging for 13 boosted by either like a clay doll, a death droid, whatever, is essential to make sure that a second hit goes off. Thinking of the meta in mind, when going up against a Nova mirror match, you're going to want to try to out-resource them. That's the biggest problem with Novas, is that they will run out of gas too soon. So if you can sometimes go after a grade 3 rearguard, that is essential for them to be hitting those big numbers every turn, when they are low on hand size, is a smarter play than dealing damage. Their 11Ks, such as Brutal Jacks and their Ashura Kaisers, can be quite annoying. So boosting our rearguards early game is not going to hurt us because they don't have any retiring effects. Speaking of retiring, going up against Kagero, you have to be conservative with your units. You don't want to rush too early, otherwise they'll just retire your board, and then you won't be able to make consistent damage every turn. This is where Transriser is very useful. With the Kagero matchup, you can call out Transriser, getting out more either interceptors or boosters, allowing us to bounce back from a play that maybe they board wiped us. A lot of Kagero players are early game playing blockade, so you can then feel a little more comfortable just laying your grade 3s in the front row and ensuring that we're going to be able to deal more damage to them early game. Going up against OTT, an early rush is very essential for us to be able to win the game. Like I said, stamina is the biggest thing that we're going to have problems with, so eating their perfect guards up as soon as possible is going to be the only way we're going to be able to win. Playing more grade 3s on the rear guards early game is going to enable us to lay our grade 2 interceptors on a turn that we know that Silent Tom is going to come out and ruin a good time. I played against the Royals the least during my climb, but what I would notice is that going up against a well-timed Blaster Blade really messed up our board state. So similar with Kagero, just be cautious when you're placing your units and when to give them 2 open counterblasts. Them constantly being able to call interceptors is going to make it harder for us to deal consistent damage. So riding our Golden Rutiles or our Lion Heats is very useful to guarantee us a second damage during a turn, and it is worth the weaker defense. My final thoughts for the deck is, like I said earlier, Ashura Kaiser is in a tier of all of his own. He is very luck-based, which can make climbing very quick and fun. Being able to restand multiple units in a turn, while at the same time having an 11k Vanguard. Gives this deck crazy like offensive and defensive capabilities. The only thing keeping this deck from being like top dog tier 0 is like the luck base in this deck. All of Vanguard is luck base, you know, with drive checks, damage checks, but because this deck requires the grade 3 checks, it can make whiffing feel even worse in this deck. Whiffs are just like when I was climbing, dude, when I was on my last chance to get into Legend, I went up against a player and I just never seemed to be able to hit my triggers, and they were able to heal like 4 times, and it's not worth like complaining about. It was still a good climb, and obviously I did hit Legend this morning. So on a side note, that guy I gave a shout out to a while ago, Stand Up to Vanguard, on my climb I ran into him yesterday. It was really cool. We played a good game. I think I made some misplays, but I somehow won, and it was amazing. I sent him a friend request. I don't remember if he accepted it, but thanks for the good game, man. The Grand Blue event has just started, so I think I'm going to be able to make some content for that. I don't think I'll be making any guides because people are already ahead of me on that. I think I'll just be trying to showcase some of the deck's capabilities, so expect that in a couple more days. I also plan on streaming at some point this week, so follow me on Twitch, twitch.tv/CharlesDinkles.